my whole life. This is what I look forward to doing every day when I wake up, every night when I go to sleep. It's all I think about. I don't know what else I'd do.
Anything that he likes, he's 100% into it. It's only gotten more so as he's gotten older.
I couldn't imagine life without it at this point.
He never quit showing up. He never stopped being coachable, and no matter how hard it was, even when he started competing, he had a lot of rough patches right out of the gate when he started because he didn't have any experience, but he never quit and he never gave up on himself.
There's no off season for Zach. I've heard him say in interviews that he'll take a short notice fight because he's always ready. He doesn't have to get ready, and that's true.
Zach put a couple exclamation points on that one. What a fight.
The household here that Zach grew up in was loving, and anything that he wanted to do, we would try to promote and let him do. Give him all of the resources that he required.
Very supportive, yeah, very supportive. My dad's just always been by my side, helping me through everything along the way. Helped me get these shirts made, records all my fights, so he's been here every step of the way.
Zach is a younger brother, so he was always the little guy. He and I were really close. He was very close with his mom. Great little kid, always liked sports, always getting into trouble, doing funny stuff. Normal, happy little kid. It wasn't always just a smooth sailing. There's ups and downs. Everything was fine.
Also tonight, another flu death here in the tri-state.
And this time it's a young woman who was perfectly healthy. That's the scary part.
She took a sabbatical from her work once there was 2 kids, and so Zach and his mom were inseparable until she passed.
I mean, I wouldn't know how it'd be any different, because that's all I ever had, so don't really remember anything before it. Happened when I was pretty young, but it was just kind of normal to me.
They were in the same bedroom. I moved them. I tried to make everything seem the same as it could be. I coached their sports teams, I cooked their meals, but you can't make up for the loss of a mom. My older daughter was very helpful. Both kids were really, and I just didn't sleep much. I don't want to make light of the term PTSD, but there are certain alarms on the iPhone that if I hear it go off, it gives me those bad memories of getting up at 4:15 every morning, to get things ready for them. We took vacations. I coached the sports teams for both kids, so we were still very much a unit. The 3 of us were a very tight-knit unit. We held it together as best we could.
I'm just not the smartest. My sister was an academic weapon. I was just not the brightest, didn't have very good grades, wasn't very motivated to do anything.
Zach never really liked school that much. And one of the things I said to him one time that I can remember was, I said, Zach, if you learn German, or whatever it was, whatever class it was he was in that he didn't want to do, I said, it's like giving your future self a gift, being able to speak German. And that stuff never really, you can't tell if it sunk in or anything. And then later he came home from MMA one time, 6 months into it, and he goes, Dad, I gave my future self the gift of being able to beat people up. So I know he remembered that line.
My name is Jerry the Magnificent Clore. I'm the head coach of the Kentucky location of Club MMA. When I was a young man, I was a mixed martial arts fighter as well. And then at a certain point, I had the opportunity to become the coach of this academy, where I've been a student for about 13 years. My career went well. 6 bouts.
Declaring your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, Jerry the Magnificent Clark.
I got started quite later in my career. I had a really good run.
This contest at 2 minutes 16 seconds into round number 3 by way of submission, declaring your winner, Jerry the Magnificent Clark.
I ran into 2 absolute beasts, and my last opponent is currently in the UFC. So, I mean, I had a pretty good run. Yeah, pretty good run.
Yeah, it was during COVID. I was probably like 14, 15, and just at home, bored, watching UFC fights, watching Khabib versus Conor, thinking it was the coolest shit in the world.
I said, you have to do some kind of an activity in school. You can't just do nothing.
I realized there was an MMA gym like right up the street from me here at Club MMA, Campbell County, Kentucky.
He came to me and he said, well, I want to join a MMA club. And so we did the research, and I had a couple that he goes to now that I suggested, but he wanted to go to Club MMA.
So my dad and me just came in, he signed me up, and just been with it ever since.
What stood out to me when I met Zach is him just literally walking in the door. I was told that we had a new 15-year-old starting in our teen class, and he almost had to duck to get his head on the door. I believe at the time when I met Zach, he was about 6'4", maybe 150 pounds perhaps. Now he's walking around at a nice, just under 200 pounds, 6'7". But the first thing that grabbed me when I met Zach was literally just his height. When I was told I had a new 15-year-old starting and I saw someone the size of a grown man walk in the door, I was like, is that my new teenager?
And he was tall. But he was very skinny. And then when I picked him up, he said, Dad, they're putting me with the adults.
Yeah, so big, being 6'4", 150 pounds. You know, he's kind of skinny at the time, but he was too big to be in our teen class. So he walked in the door, fresh 15-year-old. We had to put him in the adult class just because of his size.
I thought, oh no, here we go. Because I know how he is. He's incredibly competitive. Later, he comes home and he's like, oh, I knocked out a Cincinnati police officer, you know, and it's like, oh, all right. Let me say that the Cincinnati police officer was a fighter at the gym. It wasn't in downtown. He knew on some level that he couldn't just be out in the world with the anger in his system. He had to find an outlet for it, and he did that.
To my knowledge, no, he had no combat experience. I believe I taught him how to throw a jab and how to step around and how to shoot takedowns and all that stuff. Nothing substantial in combat by any means.
Looking back on it, after seeing what he's kind of committed to with this MMA journey, anytime he would do anything, he would go full in. If he was playing Fortnite, he's all in. If he's playing basketball, he's all in. So anything that he likes, he's 100% into it.
This is something that he wanted to do, and I think he realized he wanted to do this early. So he never quit showing up. He never stopped being coachable, and no matter how hard it was, even when he started competing, you know, he had a lot of rough patches right out of the gate when he started because he didn't have any experience, but he never quit and he never gave up on himself. The person who walks in the door here is never the person that walks out if they stick around for a certain period of time.
I like to think it's about the miles and not the time. And I just fought every weekend.
I'm not saying he takes things out on people. It's just that he's got this extra thing in him that he only lets out. He talks about it as once they lock the door on the octagon, that's a different time. And you know, that's when he can go 100%. And I think that's when he lets it out.
Zach's first full contact fight.
Well, that was an interesting one.
I was like 16 making my kickboxing debut. I'd already competed in grappling and stuff a bunch, but you know, it's different getting punched in the face.
Here we go to Indianapolis for this boxing match. And it's an older guy that is kind of famous in Indianapolis as a football star.
And then we got there.
We touched gloves, he went out, and he beat the brakes off of this guy.
Zach hits him 100 times.
And I put it on the dude.
I think this is a 3-minute round, and so, I mean, he must have beat this guy up bad for 2.5 minutes.
The guy didn't get one punch in. So here I am holding the camera, trying to cheer.
This fellow, while kind of wincing away, just swings for the fences, clips Zach, knocks him out.
Hits Zach right in what Zach calls the off button.
He just landed one big shot and turned my lights out, round one.
I had no idea what was going on. You know, they get him out of the ring, the fight's over, I go down to the locker room area. Zach had obviously had his bell rung.
Just woke up the next morning and was like, it's fight day, and they were like, you fought, dude. And I was like, oh, don't remember that, you know.
First full contact fighting did not go his way. Ended badly, first round KO. It's about as not good as a fight's gonna go for you.
Yeah, it was pretty fun though.
He didn't come out of it upset, scared, or anything.
So we regroup, we go back to the drawing board. Second full contact fighting.
From Fort Thomas, Kentucky, Zach the Ripper Russ!
Yeah! He beat this dude. It was a good fight. Dude was tough. Zach beat this guy up pretty handily.
For your winner by split decision,
Got robbed on a decision. To the point where my mother, who is 60 years old, she asked me walking out of the venue, is it hard to become a judge in kickboxing? I said, no, well, probably not. That was a robbery. You saw what you saw.
There were a lot of positives. But at the end of the fight, not counting the concussion, the other guy was messed up. He looked like a pumpkin that had been kicked. And Zach didn't have a mark on him. You know, there's positives to take from the losses too. And Zach just rolls with it. He doesn't get upset. You know, it's not like he hates the person or always remembers it. He just moves to the next fight.
Everybody who was there knew he won that fight. And that was the turning point. Is after his getting robbed in his second full contact kickboxing fight, things were never the same. You know, he starts boxing. And he starts kickboxing. He's beating a ton of people up. He's winning jiu-jitsu matches. You know, he wrestled at state leading up to this. And now it's time for his first MMA fight.
It's like every time he's moved up a level, there's an adjustment period. He hasn't just sailed through it all. It makes it sound like he's won everything, but really it's an adjustment every time.
I took some time off, that was kickboxing, and I made my MMA debut.
This guy right here, Zachary Russ. So it shows that he's 0-0, but the guy's got plenty of experience.
Okay.
And he's 6'6", but he's fighting an undefeated guy in Gabriel Harris. This is the toughest test of Gabriel Harris' career so far. He needs to take this tough test.
And I went in there, 2-0 opponent, tough dude. Everyone thought I was tripping for taking it.
Touching gloves, fighting, beating this dude up, knocks one of his teeth out at the root. Knocked his whole tooth out of his skull.
I just threw everything I had at him. I dropped him round one, jumped on the choke. I knocked out both his front teeth. Round ended. Round two came out, dropped him, took him down,
The shot in from way deep.
started choking him.
Zach made a slight miscalculation.
I would like to see Harris now slide up, try and get his knee.
He reversed me, choked me.
Yes, oh, Harris got it.
Quick.
Beautiful job by Gabriel Harris.
Man.
Head and arm choke.
Ended up costing him a match by submission.
I tapped, and I lost my MMA debut.
So now we're 3 full contact fights, and first full contact kickboxing fights didn't go our way. Our first MMA fight didn't go our way. A lot of people would quit then. And then to go on this tirade and like beat a bunch of people up and be on your big winning streak.
One thing I've learned about Zach, and this isn't something you can fake, he's a good loser. He's fine with it.
Always Zach has been very willing to accept loss because he realizes this is part of the game.
His game changes and evolves, and every time it changes, he doesn't lose the old skills, he's just gaining new skills. I can kind of see in his head when he's trying to do a move, I'm like, uh-oh, I know what he's gonna do. I can see it a second before the opponent sees it now, and I always feel sorry for him.
Something that I could say the first half of that Zach would very easily be able to finish my sentence on. If you're not losing fights time to time, you're not fighting anybody worth fighting.
And I fought 30 times last year. I got hundreds of grappling matches. You know, I got about all the experience I could ask for as an amateur. And I just think it's ready to make that next jump up to the pros.
The Ripper name and his nickname before that both happened exactly the way nicknames should happen, naturally and from the ground up. When he was starting to beat people in wrestling, they called him the Slim Reaper.
I was like the Slim Reaper in high school wrestling. I was the same height, about 6'6", but I was like 145 pounds, soaking wet, just skinny.
These muscle men would get pinned by him. It would make them so mad. And so his teammates started calling him the Slim Reaper.
Then I kind of just grew into my frame a little bit more.
As he's put on some muscle and gotten bigger, they just started calling him Zach the Ripper. And I think he liked it.
I was filling out the sheet for like my second or third fight, the information, and it was like nickname. And I was like Zach the Ripper, you know, like Jack the Ripper, and just kind of stuck with it, ran with it, been with it since, yeah.
Zach brought the Zach the Ripper name to me. Coach, I have an idea. I think I have a name. I want to be Zach the Ripper. I said, hell yeah, man, that'll work. That'll work just fine. The first time I ever really got to see the Ripper be the Ripper, it was before he was the Ripper. It was in his first full contact kickboxing fight. And even though the fight didn't go the way he wanted it to, they came out, they touched gloves, and Zach went to work. He must have hit this guy 60 times with unanswered shots. From the first time I got to see him activate in full contact fighting, I knew, I was like, there is a monster inside this young man, and it is just constantly waiting to get out to be fed.
Well, he was clumsy with it at first because when the Ripper comes out, he can't control it. He couldn't control it.
I turn it on and off when I fight, especially like when I fight, I'm a different beast. That's when I kind of become the Ripper, you know what I'm saying? I can literally, it's like a switch gets flipped. Anyone in the back room with me for any fight will tell you that. And that's what makes me so dangerous. You know, that ability to just get turned on, locked in, whatever, you know.
There's been times when he's called me and been like, Dad, you'd be so proud of me. There was 2 guys in the Walmart today that were giving me some heck, and I just walked away from it. You know, because in the past, he's punched somebody and then he's broken his hand, and then he can't fight for 6 weeks.
I was in here with a brace for a while on my hand, and everyone hated me because it had metal on it, and I'd be wrestling and club them with it. It was all terrible and stuff, but you just get through it and keep going, yeah.
You know, so he's learned it's just not worth it.
Zach has a crazy, crazy kill switch. He realizes, even though, oh yeah, I made him pro fighter, been beating ass for a while now, I think he just realizes that there's still a tremendous amount of work to be done. I'd say a typical day of training with Zach would generally start with an AM session.
Breakfast of Champions, 2 fish oils, daily vitamin, and Viagra.
The things people wouldn't know are how meticulous he is behind the scenes with his diet. It isn't just that he's eating vegetables or protein. He is doing all the research.
Don't hate the play, I hate the game. So you probably have a donut too, because Dom Johns couldn't make 185. So I got to gain a little weight this week actually. I'm about 4 pounds under this morning, so. Do a morning session, usually like pads or jujitsu. Rarely do we spar in the morning. I mean, I've been training hard for years without a break. I haven't been on vacation since I was like 16, and the whole time I was overseas, I was training. All through high school, bro, I was like, never smoked weed, nothing. Like, I was making bad decisions, but I was so OD locked in. I've never been to a party before. High school, like frat party, nothing. Never been to a Halloween party, never been. Like, been to the bars once, never drank. I've never tried alcohol before. And I'm very introverted, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like thrive like this. I need my own world, you know. It's kind of like I just live in my own world. I do the same things every day. I go to the same places. I move my body in the same movements. I don't mix it up much. There's not very much variety in my life at all.
That's fair.
And I kind of just, everyone's like, well, don't you get so bored? I'm like, no, this is just how I live. You know what I'm saying? It's like asking an Amish person like, oh, you don't miss Xbox? It's like I never fucking was on it. You know, you can't be craving something you've never experienced.
He socializes a lot and he has friends, but anything that's a step backwards is no good.
I go home from there, shower, eat, and I go back out to training. Usually I'll go to the boxing gym. You know, I've gone like 2 days without training is the longest I've gone since then, and that's when I broke my hand and I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? hit the bag, sparred, workout. That's more like a physical workout, just jump rope conditioning. Go home, eat, and then I'll go straight to 5 p.m. jiu-jitsu at Limitless, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Clifton. Do an hour class there, roll a little bit after class, and then head straight to Club MMA HQ for fight camp from 7:30 to 9:30. That's my MMA specific training. A lot of sparring and drilling.
He's always ready. I mean, if he'll make the weight, he can fight today because he's fit, he's ready, he's been practicing.
The hardest part of my week is like forcing myself to take a rest day.
Typically, I'm guessing 3 or so training sessions a day, probably 5 to 6 days a week.
I have always felt that he would burn himself out, and I've paid close attention to watch for the warning signs of that, and it hasn't happened yet. I have never had to say like, are you sure you want to get into the ring with this guy? You know, you haven't been training as much, or, you know, you've been working a lot, you haven't been fighting, are you sure you're ready? I never have to say that, because he's always ready.
The only time I was really worried about Zach burning out is when he'd fight in a kickboxing fight on Saturday night and fight in a jiu-jitsu tournament on Sunday. He's done this a bunch of times, or fought in 2 MMA fights in a month. As an amateur, you know, you can pick up a lot of fights pretty quickly because there's always kickboxing events and this and that and the other. But now that he's a professional, I think that is gonna force him to take slightly more time between fights. I never really worried about it, but it's always something in the back of your head as a coach when you see someone that pushes himself that hard. But you never wanna throw a bucket of water on a fighter like that.
He thinks it's so easy. Dad, you want to lose 20 pounds? Just stop eating as much. Boom, it's as simple as that. He doesn't realize that other people can't just do it. He just thinks like, that's how you do it.
It doesn't get boring. Like, I look forward to every training session going into it because it's just all I know at this point.
The normal teenage stuff, there is a lot of stuff he's missing, you know, but he's setting himself up for a life that is not for everybody. And that also, that kind of stuff, for him to be 19 years old and be able to put aside fun for hard work makes me realize the potential that he has. They're setting themselves up for a very different life than most people have anyway. Yes, he is missing out on typical teenage stuff here and there, but he's setting himself up for a life of stardom. So I think all that'll balance itself out in the end.
Oh, heartbreaking, bro. I was devastated. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, bro.
Oh man, this whole fighters pulling out thing is a mess. When I was fighting, I never had anybody pull out of a fight before, and so it's not something I can definitely relate to, but I can relate to the disappointment of putting in that kind of time and now you have a fight. Well, then this guy backed out, so now your fight's back on, and then now we don't know what's gonna happen. You know, this got really sticky. I didn't get a message from Zach that this contract got signed until last night at 11 o'clock. So, you know, we're weighing in tonight. I got a text last night at 11 o'clock. Contract is signed, fight's going through. A lot of fear comes from not knowing. So, you know, that would probably be as anxious as I've really seen Zach throughout this whole thing. When he knew he had a possibility to get locked into a cage and to fight another human, he seemed more anxious of not knowing if that was going to happen than to know that he had a locked-in fight against a professional athlete. So it's hard to get a professional athlete at this weight class that's going to fight on this day, that's ready. It's a lot of boxes to check. So he had an opponent, they backed out, replaced him. That person, something happened with them, and then finally we got this whole thing together.
Man, I just messaged him. I'd seen some fights and I was like, this dude is going places.
Yeah, right.
Like, I gotta message him, and then he was humble enough to like message me right back, and we worked something out. He came and seen me at my Covington shop that we had before this, and
he says humble enough, bro. I was geeking when he texted me. I was like, fuck yeah, he's my first and last barber, bro.
That's love, man. That's love, man.
This is my boy. Yeah, I mean, I don't care who it is, bro. If they were like, oh, DDP left the UFC, bro, he'll step in short notice for you. I had to accept whatever they offered me, bro.
Right.
I sold too many tickets. I'm too prepared. Like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get the ball rolling, and I'm too itching to fight. Like, I ain't fought in a while, bro.
I was about to say, how much do you think after weigh-ins today you'll gain? Or
Probably like by the end of the night or by tomorrow morning.
like by the fight, like from
By the
weigh
fight?
in to when you step in that octagon, you think you'll throw on another 10?
10 to 17.
Yeah.
That's the range, yeah. They were like, oh, Zach, they called my coach, so we were in his office, and they were like, hate to be the bearer of bad news, don't know how to say this, but Dom is out. And I was like, that motherfucker, bro. I was like, you can't be for real. They were just like, oh, we'll try to find someone, but 2 days finding a pro to fight you, because no good pro is gonna want to fight you 2 days notice, bro. Because they don't want to sacrifice their record, you know, so. But they found someone, bro. But he's just smaller. I think he usually fights at 170, so.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even walking around at 180. Like, he's underweight.
Holy cow.
Like, he's not cutting no weight.
He ain't gonna be able to take that punch, bro.
He's just a wrestler. Like, he's real short, strong wrestler. I don't think he's gonna be able to take me down, though. I think he's too little. And if he does, there's no way he's gonna be able to keep me there, do anything.
And plus, you started out grappling before
Exactly,
anything, right?
bro.
Like
I think it's literally the same opponent for real, because Dom was a wrestler too. He's got one good shot to get a takedown, and when he can't, he'll probably just wilt. He's got a lot of power in the overhand, but I'm confident that he's not gonna knock me out, so
yeah, you turn.
it's not worth shit.
If he tries shooting on you and you defend it a couple times, he's probably gonna get super desperate.
Yeah, I think he's got one. I mean, bro, he hasn't even been training. I'd be really shocked if it goes out the first round. And say he is able to take me down or something, I'll just stay safe, you know, and make it to the second round. And after the first round, bro, it's gonna be over. Like, if it goes to the second round, he's gonna quit on the stool. Like,
and that's the thing, is if he's taking it on a short notice like this, bro, even
That's
if he
what
were
I'm
to take you
saying.
down, he's not gonna have the cardio to keep you down.
or
You're
do
doing-
anything, like, and if he uses all his energy to do that, bro, he's not surviving
Gas
30
by
seconds
second
into
round,
round two. I mean, I'm gonna come out and just unleash on him. Knee him in the face, elbows, like, he's gonna get cut open bad. It's gonna be bad, bro.
Man, let me tell you, bro, I'd hate to be that guy he fighting tomorrow.
Man, that's unbelievable, people. You would kill him, bro.
Love you, dog, man. We're gonna fucking fight out tomorrow, bro. Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
When I got the call, I get a text when I'm sitting at a stoplight from Zach. I do a little pull down, it says contract signed, we're on. I bet I screamed loud enough for people in the neighborhood to hear me with my windows up in my car. It's the first thing I said to my wife. I said, hi dear, how's it going? I hope you had a nice day. Zach got a fight, we're on for tomorrow. Fantastic.
Thanks, give it to me.
And what touches me about both of these savage teenagers is that they were disappointed for everybody else. They were pissed about people buying shirts, buying tickets, hiring babysitters, coming out to the show. That's what seemed like it really agitated him almost as much as him not getting to fight. It's just the disappointment of all the people that were looking forward to him. Let's go! Till my lungs burst. So I was really happy for him because I know how much this means to him. How do I think this fight's gonna shake out? I think
I'm come around to the point before Zach's fights now where I sort of feel bad for his opponent.
You know, it's kind of just my whole life. Purpose, passion, it's everything I do. You know, everything I do somehow like relates to me fighting somehow. Every meal I eat, every place I drive, it all takes me towards fighting, so.
There's no way anybody can train more than Zach. If you have a mortgage, if you have kids, while you're doing that, you're putting your kid to sleep, Zach's lifting weights. You're at work taking phone calls, Zach's fighting someone in a ring somewhere.
Zach is about as dialed in and as hardworking and as all in as anybody that I've ever met.
It doesn't matter to me what the guy looks like anymore. I used to scout around to see his opponents and get worried if they were huge and jacked and looked mean. Now I just think, oh, you have no idea.
He is a tough opponent. Nick is no slouch. Nick is tough. But I think Zach is probably gonna zap this guy with strikes. If he doesn't get him first round, really early second round.
Probably walk out, touch gloves, he's short, I'm gonna just jab him. I got a really stiff jab, so try to run in and I'll catch him with a knee straight down the middle, an uppercut, lead or rear, a short hook, a straight right, and I think I'll probably just sleep him like that. Or if he does manage to get in on a shot, I'll defend it and throw some knees or an elbow and KO him like that. Or if somehow miraculously he does take me down, I think I'll just submit him right away. I don't think it gets out the first round though. I'm gonna make him want to quit.
I think that if that guy can survive the damage onslaught that is going to come for him for 5 straight minutes, if he can survive that and get to his stool, he's not going to have a lot left. So if Zach doesn't put him away in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised if he strangled him either. If this guy gets tired of getting beat up, dude shoots a takedown. Zach will win by stoppage. I do not think this is going to go to a decision. I would say stoppage by strikes, straight flatline KO or a submission of some sort.
Well, if you made it out the first, you won't make it out the second. I don't like to try to go to decisions. I'm not a coaster. I want to go in there, I want to inflict damage, I want to finish him, I want to make him quit, I want to feel him quit. You know, you can kind of see it in their eyes or feel it in their punches or hear it in their breath when someone's like getting ready to just call it, you know, and give up. So looking forward to that. And I got friends who are dead broke, scrunging up coins in their couch to pay for these $90 tickets. Yeah, I'm just beyond thankful. I feel like I owe it to them, my city, to put on a good performance.
Go out there and get some more of this, because do not forget about the incredible amount of work you did to transform yourself into Zach the Ripper Russ and get here into a professional fight.
Yeah, just be prepared, man. If you got to close your eyes, if you're a little squeamish, I understand. You know, I'm a professional now, I'm fighting with elbows, so it's bound to get bloody. Be prepared for violence, you know, as always.
That's the game. You know, you can't do it halfway or you get killed.
You are playing a game with your health and your time.
If you're on the cross-country team and you skip a run, your time's just a little worse, whatever. But if you cheat yourself on fighting, you get knocked out.
And you should prepare like your life's on the line. It could be. All the hard work's done, let's run it live and see what happens. Because at that point, there's nothing I can do for him.
I think I worked harder than him to get to where I am. And I think I've prepared more than he has. And I think I want it more. I need it more.
OCL 41, hosted by the famous Megacorp Pavilion. Fight fans from across the tri-state will make their way into the pavilion for a night of amateur and professional MMA fights.
I want to bring some attention to 19-year-old Zach the Ripper Russ.
A 19-year-old fighter who will be making his professional debut here tonight in front of his hometown crowd.
Pro debut. So what do you want people to know about you coming out for your pro debut?
19 in my hometown. Fought 30 times last year. From boxing, kickboxing, yeah, ready to make a run for it.
30 times last year.
Yeah.
24-4, 3-1 Army, pro debut. 19, you fought 30 times last year. Boxing, kickboxing, MMA, 24-4. That's pretty solid.
What does Zach the Ripper Russ's pro debut mean for me? It means I'm doing okay, I guess, as a coach. He is my first professional athlete that I have manufactured. Someone that has gone from being unexperienced in combat sports to grappling tournaments to amateur kickboxing to being a professional fighter. It means that I'm doing well, I suppose, as a coach, and it means that he trusts me. We often call fighting the game of death, and I mean, he realizes what he's doing. He realizes the physical and mental consequences that can come from losing a fight. The fact that he trusts me to take him to this level, it means a lot to me as well.
If you want to touch again, touch gloves, hug, whatever you all want to do. When the fight starts, if you're playing the game, the other guy, deliver the kick. That's what you're going to do right now. All right. Down the knees, also down the punch.
Something that did stick out to me about Zach was very early on. We had a big team tournament where I took a bunch of little kids and I took teenagers and I took adults. And when you coach something like that, it's an all-day affair. I have to be there for weigh-ins for the little kids and they're nervous. I have to wait for all the divisions to fight all their way through. So, you know, I'm getting into this venue maybe 8 in the morning, and then I'm leaving maybe 7 o'clock at night. So I'm going about my day, trying to salvage the rest of my day with my wife, and I got a message from Zach Russ. I said, Coach, I really appreciate you giving up your off day and spending all day at this tournament. I know that's how you wouldn't have like to probably spend your off day, but thank you very much. But it was very striking to me that a 15-year-old, being the only person I coached all day, I probably took 13, 14 fighters with me, but the only person that thanked me all day was young Zach Russ. And I thought that was very implicative of maturity for a 15-year-old to tell me like, oh, thank you for your day. For him to think about me as someone not having a day off to chase these people around all day, I thought that was really cool.
All right, and bringing out his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, we have Chase Hanley. In our red corner, he is a wrestler fighting out of Cincinnati, Ohio. He has a height of 5 foot, 11 inches tall, and he weighed in yesterday at 156 pounds. He is fighting out of Club MMA, and he is also an undefeated fighter at 1 win, 0 losses. Please give it up for Chase George Hanley.
And out of the red corner, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, coming out of Club MMA,
I see the big switch begin as soon as gloves go on and he starts hitting pads. That's when the Ripper comes to life.
I've been in that back room. I've had my hands wrapped and hit pads and listened to everybody tell me about how great I'm gonna be and how it's my night, you know?
I had to learn to get out of his way. He doesn't want to be pestered, he doesn't want to be bothered, he doesn't want questions, he doesn't want small talk.
I know how to control those emotions.
But before the fight, he's all business.
All the jokes start to dim down. When the gloves get on and he starts hitting pads, his eyes go dim, his laser focus eyeballs come out, and it is something to behold. In his movement and his breathing and the way his eyes operate, you can tell there is 100% switches that have been flipped. There is definitely, it's like a light switch. It goes on, Zach goes out, smashes people.
Used to be, I was always looking at his opponent and thinking like, oh, that's a big giant muscle man, and get scared as a parent. But now, it doesn't matter really what if the opponent is jacked or filled with tattoos or whatever you want to call it. I always think, oh, that poor guy has no idea what he's in for.
The kill switch is something that someone either has inside them or they don't.
Don't hurt me.
It's something that must be channeled. When Zach feels these sensations and gets these chemical reactions from about to being into a fight, he engages fearlessly.
I heard John Jones say the butterflies in his stomach are like coming together.
Jesus.
He harnesses that and doesn't let it consume him. And I like to kind of think of it like that, you know?
And I don't think he's afraid or nervous. I just think he's getting ready to time it right, like a pro would. And you know, that's another thing that he has that you don't always see in everybody.
I think because of his confidence that he has and his skill and ability, his general fearless nature, this has created a hurricane type situation of a ruthless fighter that will do anything to win and throw himself in the fire to make his victories happen.
Breathe and remember that I'm not letting anyone down no matter what. Everyone's just proud of how I'm doing, and win or lose, everyone's still gonna be supporting me, having my back.
I trust that Zach's ready, and so I'm not worried anymore.
If you're getting in a cage, you damn well better be tough. You better know how to fight. I don't think everybody can make it. I don't think a lot of people have the discipline to live up to their potential. Zach Russ fights like a werewolf that has rabies.
So I'm kind of psychopathic with the way I fight. I'm not really scared going in there ever.
He's got this thing inside of him, and he carries it with him all the time. And he's learned to keep it in there, and it's in a little cage. When they lock that door in the octagon, he opens the door. He says there's only one way out, and that's through the opponent.
Fight or die somewhere.
I go into every fight believing I can win. When the cage is locked and the lights are the brightest, that's when I'm most dangerous.
I mean, you would think this kid is the main event with how many people I see with shirts with his face on them.
He's been tearing through most of the guys he's faced for the last maybe 3, 4, 5 fights.
Come fight night, when the door closes and the bell rings, I've created a professional fighter. It means a lot, because at that point, there's nothing I can do for him. Like right before we go out, I give him a fist bump, tell him I'm proud of him one more time, give him some knuckles or whatever. Nothing I can do for you until you make it to the next round and I can patch up your face or something.
Once we got in that cage, they locked the door. Heard the referee say fight, bell rang, and I was just in that mode, man.
Nick got a taste of that power and maybe kind of realized that this is going to be a problem.
This is the start of something great. I can't wait to see where this takes you.
Where do you want it to take you? Direction comes from you. Where do you want to go with this sport?
Straight to the motherfucking top.
Let's go! You got it right there. Zach the
Ripper. I came out, hit him with a hard cross immediately, saw his reaction and knew it wasn't going to last long.
There's this thing that Zach does when he walks out to the ring. Zach has this stomp and this kind of gallop, and when I see he's doing that, someone is going to get hurt.
I was thrilled. The place was going crazy. I knew it was his dream come true, so as far as I was concerned, I was at 100% happiness. When you see your child achieve their dreams, there's nothing better.
33 seconds. I thought it could have been probably faster, but I was really trying to control myself. I didn't want to get antsy, you know what I'm saying? And you can see that when you watch the fight. I came out, hit him with the right hand, was like, oh, he's hurting, he wants to quit. I threw the head kick and it went over his head. And after that, I was like, all right, I need to calm down. You literally see me do it with my hands. I was like, phew. And then I just 2-3-2, whatever, finished him.
I can remember the way I used to hold him and hold his little knee, and his head was always right here, and we were frickin' frack. My parenting part is done. I've given him everything I can give him, and it's really fun to see where he takes it now. And then for it to be something like this is even more exciting.
If your only experience with Zach the Ripper Russ is Instagram and seeing him fight people, you know, seeing his post-fight antics and everything, you probably have a very different view and thought of who Zach is.
After the fight, I'm standing around. I know he's gonna come out and give me a hug. He usually finds me. There was all these little kids standing there looking at me. And the one mom says to me, they know you're Zach's dad, so they know he's gonna come out and talk to you after the fight, so they're stalking you so that they can get to Zach. And so I thought that was hilarious, but sure enough, Zach comes out, he gives me a hug. All of a sudden, all these little kids are around. So, you know, it's a different world now. He's had a lot of success, but he's stayed the same as a person.
You might think that he's an arrogant person or that he's macho, but Zach is when he's not fighting somebody for a prize, Zach is a very gentle-natured, fun. If you didn't see that his ears were mangled and stuff, like, you might be shocked to learn that he's in a pursuit to hurt people. Because Zach is a very, very nice person. Like, he's a great human being. What Zach Russ always calls that as a duality of man. Just being a really nice, sweet-natured person that is violent to their core should the opportunity arise.
This is the growth of a human being, not just the growth of a fighter. I think that when people say, oh, fighting saved his life, what it means is when he's done, ultimately, fighting has given him the tools to solve any problem.
I think what stands out most in my journey is my consistency, you know, just never giving up, just constantly living the same life every day, training, and it pays off because I win. Yeah, it's no luck in the success. It's just time, sweat equity, blood, sweat, and tears.
And I think he'll use those tools to be a better dad, to get through his career, to be a better husband, whatever he wants to do in his life, because of the lessons he learned from fighting.
Start signing contracts for more pro fights. You know, I want to fight in November a couple times, boxing, kickboxing, bare knuckle, MMA, whatever, you know, whatever I get offered, and just stay active, you know. That's when I'm my best. As a person, as a fighter, as an athlete.
Zach needs to get himself some nice sunglasses. He has an extremely bright future, and what he does with it is up to him.
Probably the best decision I ever made, looking back on Zach's fighting journey. He and I took like almost an entire year, and every weekend we went somewhere doing fights. And all of that time together with him, talking about life, talking about stuff, getting ready for the fight, I think that built our relationship, and I think that built his confidence too.
Sky's the limit for Zach the Ripper Russ. He will take this as far as he wants to take this. I said after his fight, I was like, not too far down the road, this guy is going to be the face of combat sports.
I'll make a bold prediction, 5 years from now, he'll be UFC champion of the world. How's that?